Start recording. Hi everyone. Good morning wherever you are. It's always morning somewhere. My name is Elaine. Elaine Trakand. I have recently started streaming and recording Lord of the Rings online. And I wanted to give you a little bit of a rundown of what I'm doing. I have been a fan of Lord of the Rings, mostly by it was written by Tolkien, but Tolkien wrote so much more, and I've absolutely loved the mythology that he created, and the world that he created, and very recently I figured, hey, I want to explore the lore that he wrote down for that mythos, um, and see how that relates to the game that came out, well, a long time ago, in Lord of the Rings Online. I've played it for quite a bit already, but especially for this series, I've decided to create a new character to see everything afresh, and I've decided to mainly follow the main quest, because, well, it is a massive multiplayer online game, and I find general questing kind of tedious and boring, and I didn't want to well, bore you with that and give you all the rich lore that's in the books, and even some of which has been translated to the movies. Now, that also means that because it is an MMO, there is a leveling system, and during last stream I found out that I was becoming severely underleveled for the main quests. So I did a lot of questing off stream, and boosted my level a little bit. But it is also quite likely that we'll run into that issue again at some point. So I've also decided that I want to stream different games when something like that happens, so I don't have to prematurely stop the stream. Now, as a bit of a recap, we'll be booting up the game. Let's wait for OBS to register. Why are you not doing that? Give me a moment. I think it should work now. Yes, there we go. Technical issues always abound. Now, last time we started exploring around Breland, and especially we met Aragorn for the first time, just around the time when he met Bilbo Baggins and his company, and he actually sent us down to the Barrow Downs to figure out what was happening, and at some point we went into the Old Forest to meet Tom Bombadil. Of course, we've already met him because we went through the Old Forest on our way to Tom Bombadil, retracing the steps of the Fellowship. Even though it wasn't technically retracing at that point because we were ahead of them, at least in game. But so we had a little excursion into the Great Barrow, and we found out that there is much afoot in the world. And when we returned from our expedition to the Great Barrow, we got here, and we found out that Aragorn had already left, together with Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin, of course. But Gandalf, who's recently escaped from Orthanc, and we will get into that later because it is actually a place we can reach in game. So I won't go into the lore of that just quite yet. But so we'll continue on with Gandalf. Now, let's put that over here somewhere.
I need your assistance.
You have done much good for the people of Breeland, but the shadow out of Angmar spreads far and wide. I have learned from Gwaihir the Windlord that another of my order has found corruption in the lone lands east of Bree. It may even be related to the dangers you encountered in the Great Barrow. Unfortunately, Radagast is given to wandering and will be difficult to find. I would ask that you enlist the assistance of the Rangers in finding his location. There is one here in Breeland, Ceradan, who will be able to aid you. Head out of Bree through the west gate and turn north along the Greenway. Seek Ceradan at his cabin on the east side of the Greenway, across from Thornley's worksite. Now, if I remember correctly, when we were in the Great Barrow, the wight that we found there talked about the Lone Lands and some sort of presence there that they were going to use for their evil ends. So it is actually quite likely that it is definitely... It is quite likely that it is related to the dangers we encountered in the Great Barrow. So we'll accept this and head our way out to Ceradan. Yeah, this way. Sometimes this place is a bit of a maze, but at least it's not big enough for us to get lost on the mini-map. Quick bit of lubrication. Hey, Rhoda. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't play together though, because I tend to stop quite often to explain a little bit of lore here and there. And I will also do a lot off stream, because my intention is to just stream the main quest line. And the last time I streamed, I was like level 16 or 17 doing a level 22 quest. And it was only getting worse. So as you can see, I am now level 25. So I did a lot of leveling off stream. And I will continue doing that in the future as well. Let's see, where do I have to go? Oh, wrong gate. We have to go back. I always get these gates mixed up. I really like how natural this town looks. Even though I would say that in a way it's not entirely what you'd expect. Because from the books it said that the entire town is walled off. But it looks like there is some room that you can come up there from up the hills. And the books don't make mention of that. It is, of course, entirely possible that it is there. But as far as we know, there were walls surrounding the entire town. However, considering that if you look at medieval towns, most of them will have their farms outside of the walls, which in case of a siege is a massive liability. However, when you look at Bree, you could see that there were a couple of farms inside the walls as well. I think that's actually a very good idea, because that way you can continue to have a little bit of your food source even in a siege, making sure that you will last longer.
How can I be of service?
I must confess that I do not know where Radagast was bound when he left here, other than eastward into the lone lands. I do know that he was concerned with lightning which he saw upon the peak of Weathertop. One of my kinsmen, Candaith, has already journeyed to Weathertop to investigate. Perhaps Radagast has joined him there. If you wish, my horse would bear you to Candaith's camp. Yes, please.
What do you need?
And do I interact with the horse? How do we do that? Oh, there, okay. Travel! And hopefully it will be swift travel, because that will save us a lot of time. But we can't be sure of that. So let's settle in. Look at the surroundings a little bit. This looks like it's some sort of a racing course. And although obviously no mention is made in the books, I know that there's Hengst's farm up there, which originally would teach you how to ride. And well, considering that Bree is quite a significantly large town, it would not be inconceivable that they would have a horse racing circuit nearby. In the meantime, let's open one of my gifts for the day. Okay, I will do that later. This is the only thing that I just dislike about gaming in general, is sometimes it takes so boringly long to get from one place to another, and yeah, it's kind of hard to fill that with good content. However, we have to make do with what we have. So we are going over the north side through the wilderness, and it's not exactly the path that Aragorn with Frodo took, because they left through the main road, and I think it was this road here which leads to the Lone Lands and ultimately to Rivendell, but quickly enough they left the road and went through the Midgewater marshes. In the Midgewater marshes, they encountered a species called Knickerbreakers, which was sort of oh, dang, what's it called again? I am so sorry, my brain is absolute mush sometimes. Sort of crickets, because of the incessant noise they made. And obviously lots and lots of midges, which is, I think, sort of a small mosquito-like fly, which swarmed around them, stung them, and it was an all-around horrible, horrible time for them. And especially for the hobbits like Merry and Pippin, who up to that point had been very, very used to the hobbit lifestyle. They were used to having breakfast, second breakfast, 11 C's, luncheon, tea, dinner, supper. So they basically ate a lot. And then when they encountered Aragorn, suddenly all of that eating was boiled down to whatever would make the least noise or the least kind of where are we? This is a place I don't know about. The Weatherway. So that's an old road, I suppose, that leads from the Bree Lands towards Weathertop. Yeah, I suppose that's fair. Anyways, as I was saying, like, a fellowship on the march has to be very careful with their rations. So anything between breakfast and lunch would consist of an apple. And we see that in the movies where Aragorn just tosses an apple towards Pippin. And I think it was Pippin who catches it on his head, but it might also have been Merry. It's one of the two. But also because their journey had to be so secretive, they would keep campfires and cooking fires to an absolute minimum. Which means lots of cold food, long-lasting food, and yeah, that's generally food travel is usually not something that you like a lot.
What can I do for you?
Radagast the Brown? I have not seen him, and know not of his passing, but there is a cold and a shadow that has come to these lands of late.
Greetings.
Saradan, word comes late to the Lone Lands. If Radagast the Brown passed into these lands, then perhaps hope is not lost in this place. I returned only recently from a journey in lands far to the east. Lands held firmly in the grip of evil. When I returned from that journey, I learned to my dismay that evil does not stir in the east alone. Goblins now roam to the south, while their larger and more ferocious cousins among the orcs spread through the weather hills like a festering plague. I must find the main body of the orcs. If you will assist me in driving back the enemy in these hills, I will begin the search for Radagast the Brown. What say you? So, we'll need to get rid of a few of these orcs around here to find out why they are annoying the land so much. There we go. That's the first one. Now, it is important to say something about Radagast over at this point, because Radagast is not just anyone. He is a very, very important figure, although quite glossed over quite a lot of the time. I don't think I have to. Radagast is of the same order that Saruman came from, as well as Gandalf the Grey. They were all three of them Maiar, wizards, but the Maiar were considered to be lesser gods. I find it really hard to multitask, but the wizards, there were 5 of them in total, and they entered Middle-earth mainly to be an extra layer of watchfulness and protection upon the place, because they knew that Sauron had not been found and defeated after the Great War in the Second Age, which I spoke about earlier. So I really need to find a place to do this in peace, because I, for the life of me, am not able to multitask. So let's go to camp, so we'll be relatively safe. Okay, so the wizards were in a way envoys of the Valar, in order to keep an eye on the land, and also as a way to show that those who had remained in Middle-earth, either by choice or by mandate, in a sense, because men would not be allowed to go into the Ultimate West, that they were not forsaken. Now, as I said, there were 5 wizards in total. Saruman and Gandalf are the most known of those two. However, there were also two wizards who wore blue garb. They are often referred to as the Ithrin Luin, the blue wizards, just like the Arid Luin, blue mountains. But they passed into the east, and we don't know what became of them. As for the fifth member of that group, that was Radagast. And Radagast immediately took a liking to the wildlife and learned to commune with the birds and the beasts. As such, he has a really minor role to play in the events surrounding the War of the Ring. However, as a wizard and as a Maya, he is still quite powerful, and his friendship with the birds and the beasts also made him very well suited to gather lots and lots of information.
How can I be of service?
I thank you, but my thanks are tempered with concern. I have never seen a force of orcs like this in Eriador before today. Organized and well provisioned. They hold an encampment in an outlet within the Midwater Pass and bear a strange charge on their banners and shields, one that I have not seen before. Their numbers at this camp are great, but the day may come when we can drive them howling from the lone lands. Not today, I fear, but perhaps not so far off. There is another matter that demands our attention, an urgent matter. We will see to the destruction of their camp in the Midwater Pass later.
How can I be of service?
As I began my search for Radagast near the Midwater Pass, I witnessed an orc messenger depart in great haste. Quickly I followed, trailing him eastward along the shoulder of the hills and then south, but my search was interrupted. I could follow no further, for foul Crabine circled about, and to be discovered would do greater injury to our work here than I can permit. Once again I must call upon your aid. The messenger likely carries with him orders to the outlying camps. If you can intercept the messenger, we may learn the nature of these orders. So armed, we will be better equipped to deal with the orc threat. Search among the orc camps in Glum Hollow to the west, and return to me with the orders this messenger surely possesses. I will seek sign of Radagast's passage elsewhere. Okay. So should be fairly quickly. Should be around here somewhere. There, messenger. Now, as you can see, I make quick work of even these elites. And that is because, as I've mentioned earlier, I've done quite a bit of leveling off screen, so I would be able to go on for quite some time until...
What do you need?
I cannot go on any further because of level restrictions. These orders are written in the Black Speech, a tongue I have never desired to learn. I should have been prepared for this, but I hoped that we would learn something useful immediately. While you were seeking these orders, I followed signs of Radagast through the hills. I was not alone in this pursuit, as a patrol of orcs soon happened upon my location. I was forced to break off my pursuit, and I lost my bow as I evaded the orcs beneath the eaves of the wood. It was a close thing, a close encounter that yielded insight into the Orcs' leadership. You did well for your part, and soon you will understand the intentions of the Orcs as well as their leadership. Now, it is good to note that just like any other large landmass, the lands of Middle-earth have different languages. The different peoples, both elves and men and dwarves, all have their own language. The one mostly spoken by the elves in Middle-earth is Sindarin, which is a form of sort of low elvish, which was adopted by the elves who had never gone to Valinor and seen the light of the trees, whereas the high elves spoke Quenya, and a lot of the names that we'll encounter will be in Quenya. It is considered high speech and therefore used as a scholarly language. Then there's, of course, the language of the dwarves, and I believe the Easterlings and Southerns also have their own variations on the human or common language called Westron. And then there is the speech adopted by Sauron and his minions, which is called the Black Speech, which is deeply guttural, deeply disturbing, and Gandalf talks about this when he and Frodo talk about the ring, and he does his test, and only once does he utter the words engraved upon the ring. Ash Nazg Dilbatlu, Ash Nazg Thrakatu, Ash Nazg Gimbatul, Akbozum Ishi Kunpatul. The translation is one ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind. It is a foul language. It is a language that no one should ever have to speak. And even one as wise as Gandalf recoils from using. So, yeah, it's no wonder that Gandalf never wanted to learn that speech. Let's continue.
How can I be of service?
I would have easily evaded the orcs I pursued, were it not for the War Master that travelled with him. Uzor, they called him, and gave to him what respect that their kind reserved for their strongest and fiercest warriors. It is likely that Uzor returned to Bleak Rift within the Midgewater Pass, for that seemed to be his domain. He must be slain, and whatever orders were given him recovered. Bleak Rift is northwest of here, on the northeastern edge of the Midgewater Pass, surrounded by a shallow body of water. Defeat War Master Uzor, and look for a letter of some kind near his person. Return to me victorious, and we will discuss further what must be done. Bleak Rift is likely to be a dangerous place. Be careful. I will continue my search for Radagast. North. Okay. Let's see. We can find our way there from here. Move through these extremely hilly terrain. If I'm not mistaken, it's not that bad. I thought we might be closer to the Eton Moors, but that is not correct. Can move through there. I will have to find a way up there because I do not know it. There? I think so. Let's explore. Ah, there is a ford in this river. Well, that is good. That means we can actually fairly easily get towards our target. At least I was hoping so. There we go. A way into the encampment. It's probably guarded, so we'll have to, there we go, fight our way in. Oh, I forgot something. I would like to customize my brain. Do not like that. Let's just go with that one. As you could see, those frames have been given out yearly for players who have played the game for that long. And I have played this game, or at least have had this game for close to 14 years, or probably 14 years or more, because I have the laurels of 2 times 5 years and 4 silver wings for another 4. And yeah, it's an old game. It's nearly as old as World of Warcraft is, for that matter. It's sometimes hard to imagine that the games we like have been around for that long. Like, this game has been around since 2017. That's right, 2007. And while we were talking, I easily dispatched War Master Uzor, grabbed his letter, so now we'll quickly make our way back. Take a little bit of a shortcut off this cliff. Because then I won't have to go all the way around. And we'll make our way back towards Kandai. I think we actually went through this pass on our way here. Look at that. Those are the ruins of a long forgotten wall. I wonder what those are.
How can I be of service?
Another letter written in the black speech, and its meaning evades me as did that of its fellow. This one, however, bears the mark of the white hand. I must know what this letter bears. This is not a task for you. I have finally discovered information on the whereabouts of Radagast, but there is something that you should see first. Doesn't matter.
What do you need?
Letter. As I was returning from the lands to the east, the night sky over Weathertop was lit by bright flashes of white light, akin to lightning, yet no clouds darkened the sky, and of thunder there was no sound. I think that no ordinary storm visited Amon Sul that night. I ask you to search the ruins atop Weathertop and see if there is anything to find, my friend. If you find anything out of the ordinary, return to me immediately. So this time we are tasked to go up Weathertop. And it was actually called by its Quenya name, Amon Sul. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Amon is the word for hill, and Sul is, I believe, something akin to watcher. So the rough translation for Amon Sul would be Hill of the Watcher. And when we get to the top, we will see why. It is quite a trek, but we're almost there. Now, these ruins notwithstanding, you can see far and wide from the top of this hill. Even though there are many other hills blocking the view in the end, it has a commanding view of the entire countryside, and therefore of invaluable strategic use to keep watch of the surroundings. Now, it is no wonder why the Numenorians of old decided to make this a place of watch. And still, we are not yet at the top. What do we have here? A rune-covered rock. Now, the thing that you have to understand is that I'm going to take a few shortcuts here. In the lore of the Lord of the Rings, there was no such thing as a spoken language. As a written language, except for in runes. So, or at least maybe it was in Westron, but both the elves and the dwarves used runes to write down what the stories they had.
What can I do for you?
Ah, you have something. Let me see this rock rubbing you have made. The runes are common, but I do not know what they signify. I'm afraid this does not tell me much of the lightning, but it tells me something of the source, likely the same person responsible for sending you to me.
Greetings.
I have news of Radagast, but I must ask you once again for assistance here. The letter you recovered from The letter you recovered from Bleak Rift speaks of the Orcs' true goals, taking control of Amon Sul. Orc forces are to move toward the crest of Amon Sul under cover of night and will move in a large group, establishing small units along the paths from that larger force. We cannot stand against the force when we are assembled, but we can once they are splintered. They wish to establish a base that will allow them advantage over the entirety of the Lowlands. We must foil their plans. Return to me when you are ready. Together we will scale Amon Sul and defeat Rigo, their leader, before he can carry out his master's will.
What do you need?
Weathertop, once a watchtower of the Dunedain, now a refuge for orcs. Candace the Ranger strives to break their foothold in the Weather Hills.
Now,
Greetings.
there is an interesting word used there. The Dunedain. The Dunedain are... That's a long story, really. Simply put, they are the Rangers, with Aragorn as their leader. But they are also the remnants of the First Men. When the elves came to Middle-earth, or what was Middle-earth at that time, and after a long time men came into the West, the first who came and befriended the elves were called the Aiding, the first comers. And I'm not entirely sure what Dun signifies, but it is very important to note that even though they are rangers and often despised among the local people, they are among the most powerful, I should say in a way, among men. Like I have talked about before, Aragorn has a long line of descent from those first men, and is related in a way to Elrond, who was his uncle, great uncle, and therefore has much longer lasting life than other men have. Also, those who are descendant from the first men, I think, are in a way more resistant to poisons and fatigue and that kind of thing. So while you might not say that their power is in physical means, it is definitely there in well, other ways. We must make haste. We have the leaders of these Uruk-hai cornered like rats upon the slopes of Weathertop. If we can defeat them, we may yet break the will of this warband and drive them whimpering to their masters in the south. Be prepared for everything. For anything. Let's quickly dispatch these. What's the one? Yes. There we go. I don't know what those torches are doing. Really. These are really easy to kill, so I expect us to get through this rather quickly. He wants us to use the torches to get the goblins out of there. What he doesn't know, we don't need that. We are quite powerful enough to dispatch of them, even as a group. The path diverges ahead. I shall follow the trail to the right, you follow the path to the left. If all goes well, we will meet again upon the peak of Weathertop. Wait until I have passed from sight before we proceed. Remember, we must defeat the leaders of this warband if we are to discourage them. Use the torches you find on the unlit pyres along the path. They may draw the attention of nearby orcs. Yes, open this gateway. Okay. This is kind of the downside if you do things while you're over level. They become trivially easy. But at least it will get us through this as quickly as possible. Hmm. Ah, there we go. I think doing a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, followed by a little bit of that. I have to go there. No, I think I should be able to go there. I'm not. Okay. Let's ride down there then. See if we can find our way up from there, from here. Or not. Odd. Perhaps there's something different we must do. Let's grab this torch. And light the bonfire over here. Perhaps that will help. Light this gate. I cannot. Where do I have to go? This is kind of annoying. Let me backtrack a little bit. See if I can miss something. Nothing so far. To the left before the fence. Thank you, Archprincess. I will immediately check it out. Up here? I don't see anything. Or is it down there somewhere? I literally have no idea where to go. Hi, Marsupial. I have to light another fire. Oh, was it that rock kind of thing? Is it? Oh, right. Sorry, it looked like just a pair of rocks to me. There we go. Yay! Come here, darlings. Feel my wrath. You have wasted my time, and therefore you shall die. Also, I am not evil. They are. Doesn't mean I can't, you know, entertain myself with such thoughts for some time. Thank you so much, both of you, Archprincess, sorry, and Marsupial. Hold them back. You cannot hold me. Quickly dispatch of this. By the way, hi, both to you, Archprincess and Marsupio. Welcome to my channel. And yeah, I hope you like it so far. There we go. Let's see if we can. Fortunately, I'm not died by a thing. Oh, okay. That's too bad for them. Almost at the top again. This time you can see that the orcs and goblins have heavily reinforced the place. You have done well. Better than I, it appears. Uruk-hai and orcs nearly bested me and my wounds run deep. But you must not concern yourself with me now. Beyond that gate is the Uruk who leads this force. Pass through the gate and defeat him. We cannot allow these orcs to have a hold in the north. By the way, how did the two of you find me? I'm always curious to hear. Oh. Sorry. It's been a bit of a short night for me. So I haven't had as much sleep as I would have liked. So I am a bit yawny at times. There's Riku. There's a mountain troop. Mountain. Now, I would not have expected any of these this far west, really. Now, we might actually at some point find the place where Aragorn took the hobbits and where Gandalf saved Bilbo and his party of dwarves from 3, I believe, hill trolls they were. And when we do, I'll definitely have a few words to say on that. My wounds are grievous, but I shall recover. Come, we shall return to my camp.
What do you need?
Do not concern yourself with the orcs that remain. This far removed from the Southlands, they will dwindle and become only a small danger to travelers through the Lone Lands. We have won a pivotal battle, my friend. You've earned some rest, I think, for the great threat posed by these orcs is now finished. Now let me aid you in your endeavor to find Radagast the Drowned. Now, there are two things that we have to take away from this. That is, he's talking mostly about the Uruk-hai, which are a breed of orcs created by Saruman. So they are mainly from the south. Now, when we talk about where a lot of the orcs in Middle-earth come from, it is from this region in the Misty Mountains. Well, obviously also from Mordor, but a lot of orcs dwell in the Misty Mountains. And one of the places, and I don't know if I can find it, probably around here. No, can't find it here. There, to the north of the Misty Mountains is a mountain range or a peak of some sort called Gundabad. In the lore of old, Mount Gundabad has been the capital of the goblins, which are as we've seen before, a smaller cousin of the much bulkier, much stronger, much rowdier orcs. Although it is not entirely sure if there is any difference in race, just that the goblins are smaller. And the orcs have also made their home in these mountains before. So it's unclear whether they are one race just subdivided.
How can I be of service?
Let's grab something to wear. And all of this is probably kind of useless. So we'll just grab one.
What can I do for you?
I managed to track Radagast south and there met friends, the Eglon, who make some runes here in the Lonelands their home. They are a solitary and quiet people, having shunned societal obligations for a simple life eked out here. The few that do venture towards the more civilized areas of the world are still different than most you will ever meet. Because of this nature, they are truly wary of anyone who wishes to traffic with them or their allies, and it seems that Radagast has enlisted their aid, not only now, but at some time in the distant past. I fear that you will need to earn the right to speak with Radagast. I have done what part I can. My horse will take you south and west to this Forsaken Inn. There you should seek an audience with Gaderick Muntz. He will know your name. Be safe.
How can I be of service?
So we need to go to this Forsaken Inn, which I believe is at the entrance to the Lonelands and just east of Bree. And hidden behind my quest counter thingy. There we go. So let's have a chat with these Gaderick Muntz. I think he's in here somewhere. And obviously, like any normal person would do, we ride into the house. And only once inside, we will dismount. Not before.
Can't you leave me to my misery?
Candiath is a good man who has taken a chance by giving us his word that you can be trusted. For his sake and our continued friendship with him, I hope that you are worth the risk. We are simple people who wish to remain apart from society, but there are efforts that all must undertake to survive, and we will ask you for assistance to prove that you are worthy.
It's a sorry day.
You have toiled long, and we are grateful for all you have done. You appear to have the best intentions towards our people. For this, we will grant you the request you ask. Really? Okay,
Might I
game,
take
if
a
you
moment
say
of
so.
your time?
Apparently that is just level dependent. Well, fine. That saves me a lot of grinding, I guess. But it also means that we're skipping immediately towards higher levels again, which is in a way good, but it also means that we might run into the trouble of being underleveled quite quickly. But we'll see where we can get today. You have been patient. You must understand, we are solitary people. We hold our friends dear to us and protect them as we can. Radagast is such a friend, and here at the behest of our leader to aid us with the terror emerging from a long slumber. He has taken residence in the ruins of Ostguruth, the place we call home. You are welcome to make the journey to the east. The ruin is north of the Great East Road, before the road snakes between the northern and southern swamp. Seek Radagast within the tower. Perhaps there is a way that you can aid him as he will surely aid you. Okay. Let's see. It's all the way up there. So I'll have to travel for quite some time. Now, aside from Weathertop, I know little of this place. I only know that this was a forsaken land between Bree and Rivendell, also called Imladris. So, yeah, we have a long and boring journey ahead of us. Although in the meantime we could talk about the fact that it is actually, aside from gameplay mechanics, where you actually want a decently sized world, so you can space out your quests a little, it is also a fairly decent adaptation of what is actually real distances in the books. We know that it took many days. I believe it took about 2 or 3 days to reach Weathertop from Bree, and then I think about a week from Weathertop to Rivendell, maybe more. It is not always entirely clear how much. Yet the thing is, distances are always... Sorry, I got completely distracted by that brush hunter over there. So sometimes I just watch around and look at the scenery. There we go. It's... I think it looks a bit like a lynx, I guess. A large wild cat. Anyways, when you look at a place like, or a landmass such as Europe, you can bet that a lot of those distances, while they might seem small on the map, will take many, many, many days to traverse by foot. Even within countries, it generally takes a lot longer than you might think. What is that? I don't know. Oh, we have a follow. I am completely sorry, but I missed who it was. It faded just... That was that sound. Oh my god, I really have to get used to that sound. Thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you. I will definitely do better and know where to look next time.
Why come you here?
The egg line let you in, did they? No! If you saw that message up top, unfortunately, apparently the game will shut down and go into weekly maintenance. I kind of forgot about that. That is... no, so sad. So let's complete this quest and then I'm going to take a little break, and then unfortunately I will have to continue with a different game. The egg line let you in, did they? I have been expecting you, though sooner rather than later. You have in fact taken your time. I understand you found something upon Weathertop. This rubbing, I believe it is a G-rune, a mark oft used by Gandalf the Grey, another of my order. I guessed from the description of those 3 lines that he was at Amonsul on October the 3rd, not but a few days past. I too saw the lightning upon Weathertop, and fear that Gandalf found trouble there. I have not seen him since we parted at Sarn Ford, so I can tell you no more of him or his travels. Of this place I can tell you much, but make reason of very little. I'll use that.
Will you help me?
Then we will leave this for the time being, and I'll go into break, and we will continue after with a different game. I have decided to play Dungeons 4. It is a spiritual successor, or at least the series Dungeons is a spiritual successor to an old game I used to play, Dungeon Keeper, and it is somewhat of a mix between a base builder and a real-time strategy game. And I really love the humor in it, so and yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing that with you. And Archprincess says, I am not telling who followed, that's a secret. Well, then I won't tell that it's probably you. Anyways, I will exit this game and I will go into break and I'll be back in a few minutes and I hope to see you on the other side. Mm-hmm.